Hey everyone, welcome back to Is Your Six Covered, and we have a special guest tonight, X-Ring. So we're going to talk about precision rifle and what the process is on getting to the level where you're going from just shooting at the range to now shooting farther, and now actually going, you know what, I think this would be fun to try to compete with, and some of the steps. But we'll have some fun tonight. Appreciate you guys showing up. Got quite a few of you out there already, so that is always a bonus. So we'll get started. X-Ring, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Hey guys, I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me on. Trying to get everything prepped. We leave tomorrow. We'll be doing the Bushnell Tactical Sniper Challenge. There's 48 sniper teams, two-man sniper teams, and it's going to be a good event. It goes on till Sunday. So apparently we're going to be running from 5 a.m. till 5 p.m. We were going to be doing the ruck division, but one of my teammates has an injury, so we are doing mechanized.
You want to tell the difference and what that is in case the viewers out there don't?
So for this event that's coming up, it's comprised of a two-man team, and you've got LRRP division, which is the Long Range Reconnaissance Patrol. And basically that means you carry all your gear on your back for 3 days. That's the sleeping bag, that's your food, your ammo, everything you've got to carry. You can get no outside assistance. You can't accept anything from anyone, and you cannot hide anything in the woods. During the rucks, that will cover approximately 30 miles. So you'll do about 10 miles a day in between stages. That's the LRRP. And then you've got Trooper Division. Trooper Division, you're still doing all the hiking, and you're carrying your gear and go to your hotel. Mechanized, if you have somebody that has an injury, or if you've got, let's say you've got a knee problem, then what you do is you ride in a troop transport vehicle and shoot the exact same courses of fire. It's all part of the same match.
That sounds pretty
good. So
grueling.
those are the three different. Yeah, we were trying good, and then partner injured his hip pretty badly, and doctor told him do not even compete in it. So he's competing in it, but we're not going to be doing any hiking.
No,
most of the rucks are going to be weighing anywhere from 50 to 60 pounds. You really
can't. And that's basically all your ammo for the whole competition, sleeping bags.
Yeah, and
extra socks.
Yeah, and it's not. Yeah, and it's not just a rifle. Now, most of these precision rifles that most guys are carrying, average weight's going to be around 18. Pistols and the ammo for that, because there's pistol stages for every long range stage.
Wow. Now you were talking, we were talking the other day, or eating breakfast or some shit, and you were saying that I don't know if it was this stage or one you've done in the past, where you basically the pistol course will dictate how much actual rifle ammo you're going to get. I guess you shoot poppers and a bunch of steel plate stuff. Was that for this one, or is that for something else?
You see that quite often. What they'll do is they will limit your round count on a stage, and so they'll have a ton of pistol steel, and they'll give you like 10 seconds. And when the buzzer goes off, you and your partner start engaging pistol steels as fast as you can. However many you knock over, that's how many rifle rounds you get for that stage. I mean, sometimes it could be 5 seconds, so you might get 10, 12 rounds on something where you've got 12 to 15 targets to engage. So could get ugly quickly.
Yeah, especially if you're not on your game and you ended up with, you only get one shot because you only have one shell that you basically won, and you got 5 targets, right?
No, it can vary. I mean, it can vary from 4 to 6 targets per shooter on the team.
Got it. All right. Well, kind of the topic for the night is precision rifle competition and what it takes to, I can't even read the whole thing, but takes to get going, and some of the things that you're going to look forward to way ahead of time. I know you've been shooting at the range a lot lately. Basically, the range is closed down now because that's where they're going to be doing it at. But some of the preparation, I mean, let's just talk just rifle for now. I know you still got to be very proficient in the pistol, You know, you got to be in physical fit condition, so on and so forth. But talk about like, well, your new rifle, for example, you haven't had it very long, and you know there was a lot of stuff that had to take place, and that was basically learning that new rifle, getting your load down. But you kind of just tell us what you did when the new rifle showed up, and you decided, yes, we are.
Sure.
Yeah, we are live.
So, yeah, all right. So we switched this year to 6.5 Creedmoor because we're starting to see a lot of police military. I mean, 6.5. I mean, they're fielding it now for tests, but you know what police and military have always used has been either 308, 223. You do see some 300 Win Mag, and that's about it. But it bucks the wind a whole lot better, and it's going to say supersonic out to about 1,200–1,300 yards. So it was a new cartridge for us. Now, basically, for those that don't know, a 6.5 Creedmoor is basically a neck down 308. You're just shooting instead of shooting a .308 diameter bullet, it's a .264 bullet. Yeah, 6.5 is a better long shot and it's more accurate. Yeah, especially at distance. I mean, you're not gonna tell a difference. At least I haven't anyway. But yeah, that 6.5 does really, really well. So it was a matter of getting the rifles broken in. We bought some new optics for them, and I'm a big Night Force guy, and I've got some Schmitz and whatnot, but the Night Force is just, we wanted to try the new 7-35s. It's a good optic. It works well. We went with Nichols. We had the H59s and 58s, and those work well. But the Trimmer 3 has wind dots in it. They've changed a couple of other things in it, so when you're ranging targets without electronics or anything, it makes it a little easier to get really precise range, target sizes or mill sizes. So we were happy with it. So what we did is we got our dope all the way out to about 1,000. Actually to 1,000. Tomorrow we're going to get some 1,200 meter dope or some 1,100 meter dope as well, because the temperature is rising. And as the temperature rises, if you guys don't already know this, I'm sure many of you guys do. Look at one of the comments here. As that temperature rises, because it's been 20 to 30 degrees while we've been trained for, I think the high was like 14. And that was like a 12-mile ruck we did. And, you're shooting in that kind of weather, the drops you're having to come up for, basically like at 1,000 yards, for example, guys, if you're shooting a 6.5 at 1,000 yards and the temperature is, 15 degrees, I might be dialing or holding, 8.9 mils on a 6.5 Creedmoor. But when it dropped to the 60s, we started seeing 8.2 and 8.1. So you're talking about 6-7 tenths difference. It's huge. So when the temperature rises, yeah, it has everything to do with air density, altitude, where you've got the barometer and the temperature and the humidity and the altitude. All of that plays into it. And the barometric pressure, everything plays into it. But we don't have any data because these are brand new rifles. We don't have any data at 70+ degrees, and it's supposed to be 77 on Friday.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's finally starting to warm up there, which is nice. But yeah, it's been cold. I mean, even the one time we went, it was pretty damn cold. But the weeks prior to that, you guys were doing some training, and it was still real low digits. And so at least you have the dope for that temperature now. But
yeah.
So how long did it take? You think? Oh, you're not even making magic. Are you making magic recipes for the Creedmoor? Or
no,
are you doing?
No, Hornady does really good with their new ammunition, the 6.5 to match. We started out with 140s, and then we bumped to 37s. The 147 was released somewhat recently, and we were really satisfied with it. Very consistent. I mean, the standard deviations of this ammo is sick. I mean, it's almost like you can't hand load better. However, a lot of these police military competitions, you're not allowed to use hand loads. A lot of them you have to use factory boxed ammunition. So, I mean, that's what most people
okay, that's good enough.
Yeah.
And then is that one of those this weekend?
Yes. Well, no, you can hand load for this one. We just decided not to. I mean, I've got the presses already and set up, but you know, I didn't want to mess around with load development or anything like that. It was better just to go box ammo. So.
Got it. So then what's basically the next step? So you basically got your rifle scoped in.
Yeah. You know, we got everything dialed in. We got good data on it. And from that point, then we started working on positions, because most of this stuff you're not going to be shooting off your belly. It's not going to be a belly match. It's not a PRS match either. The targets, they're not going to be MOA targets size-wise. And basically started working on kneeling, standing, a lot of different positions, awkward positions, to be able to pull these shots off. I know there's one stage we're going to be shooting out of a house. It's a 2-story house, and so you've got you and your partner are engaging from different floors for different distances on target. So you've actually shot out of that house.
Yeah, at Clinton House. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a train wreck there actually at that one. Since we're on train wreck, my train wreck partner showed up. So, hey Rob, how you doing, buddy?
Hey man, what's going on, guys? Hey man, this subject y'all are talking about intrigues the hell out of me, but I had to owed it to my wife to finish up Valentine's dinner before I could get on here. So, but
perfect
man.
sense.
One of the first videos I remember your 3-gun was the house where you dumped 2 40-round mags right off the porch, and it was funny.
Yeah, that was hilarious. It was.
I was feeling, you know, I had that empathetic, you know, feeling for you the whole time, even though I don't even think I was shooting anything competition then at all. Like I was still just plinking ammo, and I'm watching you go through this, and I'm like, man, I was feeling myself in that position going, man, that really sucks, but
yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I put those videos out because I'm not the greatest, obviously, you know, and if somebody can learn from my shitty day I had, then that's exactly the reason why I do YouTube. So
no, I hear you.
Yeah, I was actually.
He was the RO.
I was gonna say that I was ROing that one. And when the magazine fell and it bounced off the porch and about 8 feet down, I was like, well, that sucks because you can't retrieve it. And then he grabs another one, his last one, does the exact same thing, bounces off the porch, and he can't retrieve it. That was out of bounds. So I was like, yeah, okay, just leave those alone. Go on, shoot pistol.
Now, could I have engaged those targets with my pistol? From that, we're way off the subject, but I've always wanted to know this. Could I have?
You know, you actually could have. You could have engaged them with 2 rounds each. They wouldn't let you do just one, but some of them you can shoot once with rifle, once with slug, or twice with pistol.
So you would keep from getting your failure to engage, but you'd still get your misses, obviously.
Well, maybe, because on that stage the target engagements weren't that long. I think the furthest target for that, and like I said, we're on 3-gun now. We're not on precision rifle, guys. The furthest engagement was about 60 yards, and so yeah, he technically could have hit those.
Okay, yeah, I didn't mean to change the subject. I just y'all were saying
it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, y'all were talking about that, and it was a moment for me. You know, as far as watching Rick's channel and everything, it was pretty funny. But
that's
anyway.
That's what you said. This is the best channel I've ever seen on YouTube. Is that what you're thinking?
I'm like, I gotta watch this guy for more entertainment, man. This is crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Team trainer, baby. All right.
But
now I know Rob's he's big into wanting to know a lot about precision rifle. He's talked about it a lot. He's got the equipment. I mean, we talked a couple years ago now, and he basically wanted to try to start doing long range competition with his 50. Remember when we were talking about that, Rob?
Yeah, and I think, I hate to say it, it'll be a sad moment in my gun owning you know, sort of life. But I think I got to let the 50s go. I was talking to Mr. X-Ring there last week about shooting 50s. There's so few places to shoot them unless you're a member of the. And the guy that I bought these from, God rest his soul, he passed away. But I got these 50s from a guy who was handling the estate, and he was a member of the 50 cal Shooters Association, where they travel around and they do the work of holding up the little signs for each other and all that. And there's 6 ranges around the country. That's not me. I don't ever see myself. Maybe when I'm really old. But right now, I want to be able to go to long range shooting competitions, and I don't think the 50 cal is a good platform because there's no opportunities, you know. So I think I'm going to give them up. You know, I might hang on to the M82A1, but I think I'm going to go ahead and sell the AR-50 national match because it's tricked out. It was tricked out by the #1 and #2 50 cal shooter in the country for this guy and their husband and wife. And just that story alone, I could move it and make a little money and stuff like that. So I think I'm going to move that rifle anyway.
Yeah.
That's that match grade Armalite 50, right?
Yeah, and it's set up right to do what someone who wants to do that wants to do. That's why I never bought it to Farmageddon, because it's no fun. It's made to win 50 caliber competitions, and I don't see myself doing that in the next 10 years. So, but what I'd like to get good at is shooting like 6.8, 308. I think I put 6.5 on hold only for the simple fact that I'm so vested in 338. But the problem with 338 Lapua is you can't run that around like a freaking sniper competition and on your back. That's a bench rest only rifle, isn't it?
What kind is it? What kind of 338 is it?
It's a Savage 110. The B, is it the 110 BA?
Yeah, the BA 110.
Yeah,
that's not that heavy.
I see you guys offhanding those rifles, and I tried lifting that one up the other day, and you just can't hold it. So
the AXs that we're shooting right now, with everything on them, they're 21 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're not lightweight rifles. One of my other buddies that's shooting in this thing this weekend, his measured out at or weighed out at about 19 pounds. The 338 will do it. It's just you're dealing with the recoil management on follow-up shots and whatnot. Not that it's bad with a break or anything, but I mean the 6.5 is softer than a 308. So.
Yeah, so your goal is, based on what I've heard you talk about, your goal is to be able to shoot as far as you can accurately with a lightweight platform, with the ability to shoot as many times in as many seconds or minutes as possible. Is that right? I mean, I'm guessing that's right. I'm guessing these competitions are still timed, or are they not? Or
yes,
is it just accuracy only?
Okay. So no, I don't do any PRS matches, so I'm not the guy to ask on that. But the Precision Rifle Series, I don't do that. My specialty has always been, the police, military, sniper stuff, and that's what I compete in the most. However, Three Gun Nation has started a long range series. They're doing them at Virginia International Raceway in Virginia. If you've ever been to VIR. And you can shoot, there's a couple different divisions. You can shoot 223 gas gun, you can shoot 3, and then they have like a open unlimited division. You could shoot your 338 or a 6.5 or anything like that. And for example, on a stage like that, you're going to start off with a couple of pistol. Now, when I say this, you'll have no problem with it because they'll have like half-size IDPAs. They might have 3 or 4 of them, and the furthest one might be 30 yards. You just have to start off, double tap, you ground it, and then you go to your rifle. So, and believe it or not, there's some great rifle shooters that come to these things, and they cannot hit those pistol steels, and it kills them. And that's why they added it. They were like, look, this isn't a, USPSA match, but we just want to throw enough pistol in there that it's aggravating for someone that can't shoot a pistol. And that is a great series. I've had a lot of fun with it, but okay, I'll just go ahead and just tell you what one of the stages was last time. You were facing 5, they look like steel challenge steels. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those, but they're round or squarish looking plates.
Yeah.
And they had them varying to about 15 yards, but you were basically engaging from, like 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, just double tapping your way around. You grounded the pistol, and then you ran over to the rifle. Once you got the rifle, you had a rock pile, and you had to shoot from 5 different rock locations on this rock pile. You had 5 steel targets. The closest one was like 310 or 320. And on that stage, the furthest one was only like 690 or so. But you're trying to do this as quickly as you can, get in position as quickly as you can. You're not penalized for not hitting the target, but each shot you take, you're burning that timer up. So it's time plus penalties. So, what you're wanting to do is hit clean on all your steals with the fastest time, basically.
Now, last week you did get penalized if you missed, right? The one I was going to try out, we didn't end up doing it. Well, I guess it was a couple weeks ago, and I went to the farm. The one with the
that one
in the head.
Yeah, that one, a new startup. It's just outside of Charlotte, believe it or not. And for every shot you took, let's say you missed, you immediately got assessed a 10-second penalty. So like on a stage, they'd have a steal and they'd say, all right, you have 5 rounds on that steal. That's it, no more. And so, and then you have, 5 for the next one or whatever. But if you took 2 shots at it, you were already not only time engagement penalty, but then penalty for the miss.
All right.
But like I said, that's not. Yep.
Can I ask you a couple questions? Okay. So what you do, I watched that one video of you where you called it 11-year-old shoots 1,000 yards, but what y'all were doing in that video, the training you were doing, I'm guessing is a lot like the competitions you do, whether it be solo or with a partner. That looks like a lot of fun. How come I have never heard of this type of competition in my life? And I know I'm speaking for a lot of people. No one has ever heard of this shit ever.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you, it's been out there in the military and police circles. It's been out there a long time. I mean, it goes back forever. But you had to be military or police in order to be able to participate in these events.
Oh,
so
okay.
When I won, when I won the Gastonia Sniper, this was back in 2014. I mean, that was a huge prize table, and myself and my shooting partner, we were competing against Canadian SF. Ranger Battalion 3rd Group, Delta was there. They fielded a team, but that was extremely physical. I mean, you might start off with a 500-yard run/sprint with your rifle before you even started engaging anything. And, geez, the take home on that was like 25 grand or so. And we won that lock, stock, and barrel, and then it disappeared. But that's been up and running for 12 or 13 years. Now, it just came back. Ironically, this is pretty cool, because it just came back. They're doing it at a new facility, and it's called the Tactical Farm, and it's just outside of Shelby, North Carolina. And they are, for the first time ever, going to, it's not police or military, can field their own 2-man team and shoot in it. They are knocking out all of the physical elements. It's their first time ever doing it, so they didn't know, because there was a lot of injuries in these things. I mean, on the O course, I mean, you're climbing a 3-story tower, ladders or anything, and you've got 8 foot, 8 foot, and 9 foot holes basically in the ceiling, and you've got to get you and your partner through there. So you'll use, either just sheer strength after you've done run through it, but a lot of guys, had fallen through there, broken ribs. I mean, it's a long obstacle course, and so I think they didn't want to start that one off that way this year. So I think that match is going to be April the 8th. I'm not shooting in it. I'm actually going to be in. They're doing a Green Beret Foundation 3-gun at Camp McCall this year, so I'll be at that one. But if it's something you're interested in, you got plenty of time to get up and going to shoot that one. That one will be a fun one, but that is a team match.
To me, I mean, stuff like this just seems epic to me. And I've never heard of stuff like this going on in this country ever in my life. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, does this shit really even exist? And to me, you know, I mean, even knowing where 3-gun events are going on is ridiculous for me to even find out right now, because you email people, you get on their website, it shows a schedule of last year's events, and you're like, how do I know what shit's going on? And I don't know. It's just I wish there was a better way for all this information to be able to get, you know, to achieve. I want to do more of this kind of stuff, and it seems like I'd find out about it when it's over, you know?
Yeah, the one guy over here said there was 200 people at the PRS match. I mean, PRS has come on strong. And, you know, it seems like what I'm seeing, the trend-wise anyway, is 3-gun. I'm not saying it's dying, but it's starting to slow down, and precision rifle is really starting to pick up. And, you know, some guys don't like the format of a PRS match. Some guys love it. You know, my sniper partner actually went to about 2 of them, and he was like, man, it's just not what I like doing. And so he quit going to them. But I mean, it's different when you've got a team element. I mean, it's all about communication, how well you work together. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're, you know, the best shot in the world. If you've got a partner that you can't communicate with, and you're not telling each other what's going on, or someone that, you know, is not really good on a spot and scope, I mean, it can make it really, really tough. Really can. But yeah, I think you'll love it if you ever do one. You need to do one of the, if you look it up under 3-Gun Nation, if you go to that website, they have what they call long range series, and they are doing most of those at VIR. The one guy commented it's a great place. It is. I mean, you know, I've spent a lot of time on that track with other stuff, but you know, I knew they've always had ranges out there, and they've done a lot of training, tons of training.
Yeah, VIR. I used to road race middleweight superbike for about 3 years, and I've run every racetrack in the Southeast. And VIR was just getting built as I was getting out of racing, and that was one of the tracks I wanted to go to. It was around probably for a year or two as I was kind of trying to win races and win, be in the upper points level or whatnot of the racing series. So I was racing Rolling Road, Talladega Grand Prix Raceway, Atlanta Motor Speedway, Road Atlanta, Moroso Motorsports Park, Daytona. I've raced Daytona. I've done 200 over the stripe at Daytona. I mean, I've always been an adrenaline junkie, and when I was racing motorcycles, I was very competitive. And that some of the same skills as far as agility and your sight and everything are very similar road racing motorcycles as they are with running and gunning with pistols and stuff like that, or shotgun and rifle. So I've taken to that. It's been like a 15-year hiatus from doing anything serious as far as competition, but now I kind of want to do. I love USPSA. I'll tell anyone USPSA, if you just do that, it's a lot of fun. But but on top of that, I've said 3-gun is just way more fun because you got the 2 extra guns, and then long range stuff just adds a new element. I'm interested in it all, quite honestly, and it's just I'm in a bad spot right now because I want to do it all.
If it goes boom, he wants to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends on where it's being held. They had, I think it was Nationals out in Oklahoma a couple years ago, and it was all based, and I hated it. I absolutely hated it. And so now when I find out where the venue is, it's going to be more natural terrain or base stages. I'll usually pick the ones that are, when I'm picking my schedule out for the year, I'll do natural terrain first and foremost. Because base stages, I mean, basically you're just dumping rounds, and that's fine. But there's really no long distance. I think when they had it at Oklahoma, I think the furthest rifle target we had was like 110 yards with your AR. I mean, what's that? Come on, when we shot it in Alabama, and I was shooting a dot at that match. We were engaging targets out to 430 on steels. 410 or 420 or 430. I can't remember, but I kind of like that a little better.
What the hell's that noise?
The dog scratching in the
Oh,
kennel.
that's what it is. I'm like, is Ray coming up with some rap song or what the hell is that?
Sounds like Santa Claus over there, doesn't it?
Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, you better
No, rap
bust the
songs
rhyme
is
out.
what I do in my videos. So.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Yeah, I tell you what, it's I enjoy hanging out with Ray. I just sit there and learn. Just turn my ears on and shut the hell up. It's been a fun adventure for sure. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there that we miss out on, Rob, because we don't know about it. You know, Ray's he has the ability. He has such, he has a lot of friends in the field of competition, so he's getting the early email. Like, hey, this one's going to be opening up soon and stuff like that. So
Well, yeah, and it's unfortunate. A lot of them use Facebook and stuff like that. And I've had a problem with Practice Score where you can't really find a match on Practice Score until it goes live. And then once it goes live, a lot of times unless you know that there's a match happening here and it goes live a week before or 2 weeks or even a month before, you might not be able to get into the match. I wanted to get into a match in Columbia, South Carolina. It sold out in a few hours, and I got put on a waiting list and luckily I got in there and everything. But, having that inside knowledge, man, you have a lot more options. And I think that's frustrating for people like me that want to get into more matches and you find them after they're over almost, So.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'll definitely hit you up and let you know on ones that are coming around. Almost all of them use Facebook, and if you go to Practice Score, unless you have the exact name and can search it that way, it never populates. The search is terrible on that.
Yeah,
but
I know
I'll let you know. Like
good. I know Practice Score is good for the scoring and the results and all that, but I think they need to work on Practice Score to give you more of like time to plan to go to an event and know when you have to log on and when you need to register and all that. I mean, that site could be so much better, but maybe they don't want to make it easy for people to get in matches so the guys that are really supposed to be there can get in there. I'm not sure. I don't know how political it is.
No, it's not that. What it is, I was one of the first guys that was using Practice Score when we had our facility up here, and we were a 3-Gun Nation club. And at that time, they didn't have Practice Score registration. So what this really falls back on, I believe, is the match directors, they're not promoting it or putting it into Practice Score until they are thinking about getting registration ready to open. You follow me? Because, it really falls on them. They have to input that information first on the match. Then they have to build the match in there as far as the location and everything else. And I think that many of them are just waiting until the last minute. And by that time, like I said, Facebook blown up with the information. And as soon as it opens up, it's sold out. Task Force is already sold out this year, or at least that's what I was told.
Well, yeah, that's the problem we had the other day shooting that tournament, or ended up not shooting, is because they only had, I think there was 16 spots, 2 squads of 8. And at the end of the day, we were 1/2 of how many people were going to be there. So it was like, well, this is a waste of our freaking time. So, they didn't promote.
I've never heard of that place. I said, if I've never heard of it, chances are there's something, it's shooting, but it's not going to be a real match.
Well, no, it was,
but
I could have pulled off a 4th.
It was an outlaw match, and you had to use a PCC for the rifle portion. So it was all bay oriented. And I Google Earth that place, and there was only 2 bays. So I know for a fact what they did was they brought in 2 8-man squads, and you shot your bay, and then you swapped and shot your bay, and then you set up another stage, and then you each shot twice because it was 4 stages and 2 squads. I seen what they were doing, and I knew right away how it was going to go down. So You know, I didn't feel like it was worth the drive.
Yeah. There was another piece of equipment that I didn't mention. If you're really wanting to get into this, you've already got the Savage, the 338. You know, I went over some of the basic stuff on my video, you know, with regards to shooting mat and junk like that. But when you get into this moving and shooting stuff, your bags are going to change quite a bit. I mean, if you don't believe that, go to a PRS match and everybody looks like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man because they got 6 bags hanging off of them. I mean, literally, I mean, some of these bags are this big, and you know they're placing them up under the arms for support and everything else. And you know, initially I thought that was a little hokey, but then I was like, you know what? If everybody else is using it, it's an advantage. And if you're not going to use it, you're going to be at a disadvantage by not having it. Just in certain positions they put you in.
Now, when you say bags, are you talking about shooting bags, resting bags, or travel like
no, they are shooting bags, but they look like freaking pillows, like on your couch. Okay, I mean they're huge. They're super lightweight. Okay, but they're really versatile. I'm going to go ahead and give the shout out because we buy a lot of stuff from them. If you're not sure, if you haven't heard of this company, Armageddon Gear, they make a ton of bags. I mean, you've got Wee Badge, Armageddon, Sergeant something. I can't remember the name of it, but you know, these bags are huge and they'll come in sets. And so like the big, some people call them pump pillows. Okay. What you'll do is if you're in a position where this arm's hanging out in the air, you'll place it up against your body or maybe on top of your leg, depending if you're squatting. And so it'll give you that, it'll bridge that area to give you more support. And so like, it's something that we always did before in these mill sniper matches, but we always used our ruck and did that. You know, you did your backpack, you know, and put it in a position to give you some support. But now they got all these pillows, and you can take these pillows and you can put them. They have elastic band, rail or something. It's just like you just set it on a sandbag, and it's attached to the rifle. So that's something I haven't covered any of that stuff. And then another thing you're going to want to look at is when you get into longer range shooting, you're really going to want to get a Kestrel. I don't know if you know what a Kestrel is. All my stuff's packed up. I can't dig it out now because we're leaving in the morning. But basically, a Kestrel is it's everything from your ballistic solver to your environmentals. It does the altitude, the barometer, the air density, altitude, humidity, all of that right where you're at. And it will take into account all the information you've input with regards to your caliber and your ballistic coefficient and everything else, and it will give you a solution. You know, that way, if let's say I zeroed and I was down in Charleston, you know, near sea level, and then tomorrow I go to Colorado to go shoot, and I'm, you know, at Mile High Stadium, you know, I'm 5,200 feet in elevation. It's going to do quite a bit to my bullet and how it flies through the air. I mean, a lot of environmentals are going to change there, and this will take all that into account and will get you pretty spot on where you need to be. They've made it easy through technology to shoot long distance, but yeah, it's called a Kestrel. They're not cheap. You know, the good ones right now, I'm going to recommend the Applied Ballistics. They used to make one that had Horus. Don't get any of those. Get the one with the Applied Ballistics. I think the new model is a 5400, and you're looking at about $650 for one of those.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah. That, I mean,
see, right here, Land Run 89. He just commented, Kestrels and ballistic calculators are great, but some matches won't allow electronics. That is exactly right. And so that's why when I covered the data book, I always have my dope book with me. And then that is my Bible for that rifle. You know, we're going to 2 stages, I believe, over this weekend, because we're all day Friday, Saturday, Sunday, where basically all electronics are dead. You can't use any laser rangefinders. You can't use Kestrel. You can't use anything. So other than your know-how on how to engage these targets. So yeah, so that's something to think about.
Yeah, but I have to imagine inputting information into that and receiving data back makes you it teaches you, you know, like Like, it's sort of like Googling something. You might not know shit, but if you Google something and see the answer, you're like, oh, now I know it.
Yeah, I'm an expert. Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Yeah, no,
but you understand what I'm saying. I mean, sometimes the electronics can teach you. So when it's not there,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is a valuable tool, and it's something that the military uses very heavily. We had Kestrels on our team, but we didn't have ballistic solvers and all that back then. This was way back. And we used the Kestrels for barometer and altimeter and things like that. But we didn't have applied ballistics in these things. And some third group guys, they were like, "Dude, you guys need to get the new ones." And we're like, "What are you talking about?" And they showed us, and I've been a believer ever since. Ever since. I mean, it's not going to make you magically win. You still have to do your part. But it does make it a lot easier. And then, especially, let's say Rick had never done matter of fact, Rick's never done long distance until that day he went out with me. But he saw how easy it was. Once I had all the data in there, I could literally say 620 yards, and there it is. There's his dope form. His holds. You can take wind values, and see, these things have compasses in them, so you can aim it at your target and get a direction of fire. And then you'll take a wind reading based on which way the wind is blowing, and it will solve for you how much drift there's going to be based on your direction of fire and the wind. And let me tell you, it works really, really well. And you can even bracket it, plus minus 2 miles an hour. And so when it gives you the solution, it might say, all right, 3/10, plus 3/10 to 6/10, to 6/10. And then you just put the target in the middle, and you can be pretty darn close.
Well, and the thing is, like, the last time we went shooting, like, you got to have the ability to shoot, right? But then having the gadgets definitely is a plus. So, like, remember we were sitting there and the guy was shooting that 6.5 Creedmoor. I don't remember what rifle it was. And that's when we were shooting Shay's pistol. Remember that day? There was those two gentlemen.
Yeah, that was
long range match.
Hold on. Yes, those guys were shooting 6.5s. Those were SF guys.
Yeah, and then you showed them that new gizmo gadget, the new Kestrel, and they're like, wow, and I really need one of these. Like, Ray was just kind of showing.
Those guys are already out, so yeah. I'm telling you, it works really well, and you can learn a lot from using one. But like I said, the price point's pretty expensive. I mean, to do this game, it's kind of why I did that intro into precision rifle, and I had recommended something like, I even showed you that one that I'd bought used and everything else. This can be a very, very expensive game. By the time you get all the gear and the good glass, look,
$7,000.
The one thing I do not skimp on, and if I didn't make it clear in that video, don't skimp on your glass. It's got to track. It's got to track well. And you typically can't do that on a budget.
Yeah, what's funny is after you did that video, I have about 5 rifles that I consider to be long range capable, and out of 2 of them were like MOA scopes, and I'm like, well, shit, man, I screwed up the purchase on those, but I do have some really. I shouldn't say screwed up, but I didn't keep them all the same is kind of my point, because
correct.
The way I look at it is if you're doing long range anything, you should keep all your brain thinking the same way. So if you have an MRAD scope on your 3 favorite rifles, you don't want to the next day find a good deal on an MOA scope and go, oh, I'll just buy that. It's not worth it at that point. Yeah. You should stick with MRAD. So anyway, I've done that a couple times, and now my collection is kind of screwed up. So, but luckily, the most of them are MRADs, mil radian scopes. So,
yeah, I see Land Run right there. He must do a lot of PRS, but I don't doubt him. But $20,000 in the rig is a lot, because even if you go with, let's say, the highest end, I want to go high end here. Let's say you go surgeon or accuracy, and you're looking at $7,000 in your rifle, and then you go with, I'm going to go real high. Let's say you go Hensoldt, which I'm not I mean, it's a good scope, but I think they're better scopes. But let's say you go with a Henselt that's $7,000. That's $14,000. That still leaves you, I mean, $6,000 shy of that. I mean, I believe there's $20,000 in it, but that's the upper end. I mean, the Schmidt and Bender, the new 3 to 27s, we just bought 2 of those, and like I said, we had problems with those. So, hey, I'm sorry, it is what it is. But those would not go back, and those were $5,800 each. Yeah. So you don't need to spend that kind of money. I do see a lot of guys. I think the number one, this is based off of what PRS reported. I think the number one scope out there right now was the Vortex, the Razor. A lot of guys were shooting that 3 to 27. There's a picture of me shooting one, my little avatar, whatever you want to call that thing. I was shooting one, but it had to go back. So what I've heard is a very popular scope. It's a heavy scope. I know the AMGs are a lot lighter, but they do have the best warranty in the business. But I was also told that it's because your stuff's going to go back to them. But I haven't had that issue but one time. All their other 1 to 6s and everything that I've owned have been bomb proof. I don't have a lot of Vortex products, but I've used them. Anything over $2,000, I'm going to fall back on Kentucky windage. Yeah, I mean, but you can get really nice scopes for a lot less than that, especially if you get one secondhand. Some of the Night Force. I'm telling you, I'm a diehard Night Force guy. Those things just work. They work, and I don't have problems with them. But even their hunting series, the SHV, since they changed their turrets out and all, those things track well. You can get those for about $1,100, and it's a good scope. I mean, they've got some reticle options, but you don't have to spend stupid money. But it is expensive.
Well, when you after you made that video, I went and looked at my 338, which is to me going to be my ultimate long range rifle. I'm definitely going to keep that one, but it has a Citron, I think 10 to 40 by 50 or 10 to 50 by 40. I don't know. I think it's 10 to 40 by 50, but it's mil radian with the adjustable turrets and everything. It's got all very clear to see adjustments and everything. So I was very happy to see that, but I think I only paid like $3,500 for the rifle and the scope. I don't think it was a lot of money, and I don't see where I would spend a lot more than that. But because you have to match the rifle's talent with your talent, and my talent's not great. So I mean, you don't ever want to buy a $1 billion airplane when you can only fly a Cessna. That's kind of
Oh, we got SoCal on here.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm running. I've got a couple of the 4 to 16s, and I really like them. For me, it's very versatile, very fast. It's a lightweight, small scope. I got rid of all my 5 to 25s because they were all MOA scopes, and it was one of those. I don't want to keep going back and forth when I'm shooting these things. So I've converted everything over to mil, and the 5 to 25 is a good one. You're stepping up in the size and power, but man, I tell you what, I've never shot a match yet where I've been moving, shooting, getting position where I'm much over 15 or 16 power anyway. The very first match that Three Gun Nation put on, I think there were 90 competitors. It was at VIR, the very first one, Nordic, and there was quite a few sponsors of that event. I won that match shooting a 5.56. When I say the match, I won the overall match, not division, shooting a 5.56 with a 3 to 9 mil dot scope. It was a mil, but it was a mil dot 3 to 9. I didn't have any stadia lines or anything like that. And that's beating the guys that were shooting the 6.5s, open division guys, and the 308s. And we engaged targets at that match out to, I think it was 850, but it was a lot of speed stuff. And that's why I chose the 5.56 at that one.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, no, you can look it up on practice score.
Do this.
No, I don't doubt you one bit. I can't imagine shooting 800 damn yards with a freaking AR-15. I mean, I'm just
now Now, hold on. I'm not saying it was the best tool for the job, but it worked and it was fast. I got all my hits. I had no missed targets for the entire match, but I was struggling with wind. On some of them, I did have to take some extra shots because we had constant 20 to 25-mile-an-hour winds that day. Everybody remembers. And so on the 1,000-yard range, shooting from the tower that was swaying, I mean, I was holding, in some cases, I was holding 4 to 5 mils off target, 4 to 5 mils off target in order to hit it. And God. So, you know, that was tough.
I mean, that's where the skill takes over, where you just know, you know what I mean? I mean, so all the great equipment in the world and all that, I can, you know, adjust and do all this. Sometimes it's better just to know, because when you know and everyone else doesn't know, you freaking win the match.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you know, you're welcome anytime to go out with me. You know, after I get done with this match here, and I'll take you out to Clinton House, or if you want to meet up. I mean, like I said, it's a drive for me and it's a drive for you. We can do it.
Ready. I'm gonna bring the M1A national match, the 338, and then one AR-15 that I want to learn to shoot long range. And while I'm there, I'm going to join the club, and I appreciate you bringing me out there. And I'd love to pick your brain for an afternoon or a few hours or whatnot. And
it's gonna cost lunch.
That's whatever. My long range game is
he needs his Diet Coke. Nothing happens without Diet Coke.
My long range game is not good, but it's something that I'm very passionate about. Like I want to understand it. I don't care if I'm ever really good at it. I just want to understand. So when I screw up, at least I know how I screwed up. You know what I mean? I mean, it's no,
we can do that. We can do that. And see, you know, one of the biggest things is it's hard to do this by yourself, because if you're shooting, let's say you're trying to engage a target and you had no problems out to about 600 yards, and at 700 you keep missing. You're not going to be able to spot those shots. You're going to lose it whenever you break the shot. And so having someone there on a spotting scope that can see the vapor trail and tell you and say, you know, you're left. All right, you're high, because so much starts to play a big part of it, and keeping it level, you know, keeping the gun level. I don't know if you guys have seen some of those videos. I mean, I'm using this digital level. It works great because I don't have to focus on anything. I mean, I'm getting to that age now where I'm having to do reading glasses. I can see like a hawk, you know, out far. I mean, no problem there. But all these levels I was putting on them, I couldn't focus on the bubble if I needed to see it. And, you know, it's extremely important. You know, 1 degree of cant at 1,000 yards is going to move that bullet. Take everything else out of the equation. Just canting your rifle 1 degree at 1,000 yards, it moves your bullet 5 inches over. So it's one of those, in order to be consistent, you really want it to be level. So you need some type of level. You know, some guys say, oh, you don't need a level. That's fine. But
I've been in a lot of situations.
NoCal's
ordering his shit up right now on fucking YouTube. What's that level you use?
It is the name of the range, or the level, is called, it's made by Long Range Arms. It is not cheap. Now, I will tell you this. Take it for what it's worth. I saw them prototype. The match I shot, the Delta guys were there, and they had them on their rifles. And I was like, is that thing a gimmick or does it work? And they said, it works. I ordered one immediately thereafter. Now, look, I don't know if you guys know Delta speed. That is the best of the best. Those guys are squared away on their guns. I said, you know what? I'm going to try it. I am satisfied with it. If you want to talk for just a second, I'll grab it over here and I can kind of show what it does.
All right. Yeah, it's cool. I had a chance to use it.
Yeah, when I got to go to that Task Force Dagger shoot, one of those guys was Delta Force, and one of those guys was a Green Beret. A Green Beret, is that Delta Force? I don't even know, but anyway,
I'm not sure.
They were two really high-speed dudes, man.
I just put them all together.
Be your elite counterterrorism guys in the U.S. Those are those guys get anything they want, pretty much carte blanche. Okay. All right. So I don't know if you guys can see this. this. You can mount this on SoCal. You can mount this either vertically or horizontally. It does have a level here, but I'm going to turn it on right now, and it's going to boot up. And when it boots up, it's going to basically tell me a battery level and everything else, and then it stops. Now, this is accurate within, you can adjust it within 2%. Really sensitive. Oh, there's a green. I don't even have to open. I don't have to focus on it. So now I'm going to get red because I'm canning left. I'm going to go back to the right. As long as I got it set for really sensitive right now, then that means I'm good to go. And so I don't even have to focus on it. I just see that light. And you can adjust the brightness on it. I mean, you can turn this thing down to where you almost can't even see it. But they're not cheap. They're $200 and something. But Delta farts.
Shit, he's already ordered that thing.
Yeah, $250 to him ain't shit. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna buy one too for that 338.
I believe. Well, the reason I'll give him kudos. So, if you guys aren't familiar with WTF SoCal, go check him out. Obviously, but he's
and then Razor breaks it down over here on what Delta is, because he's spot on. I mean, everything he's ever posted has been pretty spot on.
Yeah, he's a badass too.
Yeah, no doubt.
But he's really wanting to get a badass rifle, and it sucks because if you don't have the information, like, I'm not busting on Rob, but he's thinking, okay, this is what I want, and then he gets it, and then he's like, well, shit, I should have got this probably, So he wants to do it right. So he's asking questions. That's what we do. That's how we learn.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Another thing is I don't skimp on the optics, and I don't skip on the mounts. Look, it's overpriced. I get it. But the spur mounts, those things are as robust as it gets, and they're really configurable to where you can put rails here and there if you need to. I don't know if you guys have ever looked at any of the spur mounts. That's a spur mount right there. I mean, it looks like a ring and a base, but I mean, the whole thing is just beautifully machined, just like that. There's even a level that's built into that on the back side. You see it's offset in between the scope and the rifle. I know I've got it upside down. And so I've got multiple ways, if I needed to, of checking level. But sometimes, especially in some of these matches, you get in the most awkward positions. I mean, and you're like, this feels straight. Man, you're so crooked, it's not even funny. And you're trying to take an 800-900 yard shot. I mean, off-axis shooting is one of the hardest things. It's one of those things, it's hard to calculate for. You can do it. The very last one that I shot, we had to do a 45-degree off-axis shot to 285 yards, and we're trying to hit a 8-inch target. You're not going to do it like
another chat, because that we had a lot of fun talking about that shit. You would be amazed. Don't even. We'll save this for another.
Okay, I'm going to be quiet.
That is badass. I got to tell you, it's freaking cool. But continue on. SoCal, what's the mount SoCal needs to order, because they already ordered the night for. So let's just get this gun ordered. Be right back.
No, this is the thing, guys. I'm just showing you. I mean, pretty much what I consider some of the most robust and best of the best. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Night Force rings or Badger Ordnance or, I got tons of Mark IV rings, and LaRue makes great stuff. Now, one of the things that I don't do, especially when I hear LaRue, not saying that this is the case, but I don't use anything quick release, okay, ever. I just don't do it. I don't like quick release. On anything that's a bolt gun. It's going to be kind of rare to see that anyway. But even on my ARs, I like to solidly mount everything and torque it. If you guys, I don't know if you guys work on guns a lot. There's a kit called a Borka. Have you ever heard of that? BORKA?
I haven't personally. No.
You need to take a look at it. It's BORKA. It's a little toolkit, and it has basically your inch pounds for everything. Whether you're doing 21 inch pounds here and 64 over here. I think this one, to change the barrel out, that's 42 inch pounds. And this thing's adjustable to where it's spot on. And they calibrate these things. And, we've got Weehaws in the shop on the CNC machines, and we've checked them against the Weehaws as soon as they came in, and Weehaw stuff is stupid expensive. And that bork has always been spot on. So I know all my stuff is torqued right, you know?
Okay. Well, I have
It's one of those things.
I got the fat wrench where it gives you the inch pounds, but that's probably not anything near what you're talking about.
Well, no, I mean, it would work as long as you've got something where you can check it, because you just want to make sure everything's solid and it's, you know, it's tight on there. So yeah, copious notes, because I know one of the reasons we did this was because of SoCal, because Rick told me he was wanting to do a setup. Hold on just a second. Let me put this thing down.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, SoCal is getting into the 6.5 Creedmoor world, and he's tempting me to go in there with him, but I'm looking at all the shit that I have available to me, and I'm like, man, do I want to get into another platform? You know, I mean, I know that's the way to go, but honestly, at my level and just having fun and kind of,
you've already got the gun. I mean, you've already got the rifle. There's no reason to buy anything.
Yeah, so I've kind of decided just to commit myself to reloading 338 and maybe 6.8 for, you know, shorter range, accurate kind of rifle stuff. But anyway, he ain't gonna like hearing that. But he's fully committed on 6.5, which I'll have to live vicariously through him. You know.
Let me tell you, you know, there are some better calibers. Okay, you can get into these 6mm that are just screaming that, you know, do great. However, your barrel life, I mean, I'm not going to be rebarreling the gun every 1,200 rounds. Okay, and 6.5 is one of those where it's going to give you everything you need, but you're still going to be able to get 3,000 plus rounds accuracy. I really like the 6.5, but you know, if someone's got a 308 or if they've got a 338, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I had one actually 2 years ago. I won a Barrett MRAD, and it was I had a 308, 300 win, and it was a whole package. And it had a 338 Lapua on it, but it would not shoot. Have you played around with any different loads on that thing?
No,
yet,
I'm not even.
You just shoot.
No, not there yet.
Yeah, we were doing like the 265 CNRs and some other stuff, and that thing was just so finicky on what it would actually shoot accurately. And I ended up selling that thing. And you know, this 6.5, I'm telling you, it is, man. You know, in that first video that I put out, I seriously mean this. I'm not a Ruger guy. You can't beat that stupid RPR. That thing is bang for the buck. It's tough to beat. It's $1,000, you know. And if you don't like it, rebarrel it, you know. Now, one of the questions that Rick had asked me earlier, he said, you know, if you got $4,000 for a full setup, what would you get? And that is a very tough question, because I don't want to answer everything with, okay, buy RPR and be done with it. A custom rifle builder, if the guy knows what he's doing, you can have a nice rig, you know, get you a Defiance Action or a Surgeon. I mean, if the Land Run, I mean, he could probably speak for this if he does a lot of PRS. I mean, those actions are great. And I've had some GA Precision stuff. That stuff's spot on, but you're not going to get that budget wise. So you know, pick your action out. I am going to highly recommend you go with a Bartlein barrel. Bartlein is a great barrel. I just shoot Kriegers and Bartleins, with the exception of this AI, and that's because it came with what it came with. But you know, maybe I can get some backing on that if he's still on it. But yeah, Bartlein and Krieger, those things are spot on. So you could have somebody build you that up. Now you can choose your chassis. Do you want to go old school? Do you want something that's, you know, like a KDEX or something like that? I mean, you can just build what you want, and you can be way under 4,000 on that. You can get you a good build for 3,000-ish, and then that'll leave you some money for optics, but, you know, not a lot. And then, you know, you still got to get your Kestrel and your spot and scope and all this other stuff. It can add up very quickly. Yeah, a lot of great builders in Oklahoma. Yeah, I know that. I got a bunch of friends out in Oklahoma, and I mean, there's great builders everywhere. If someone's on the East Coast, there's a lot out here too. I mean, geez, there's great builders, and so I don't know what to tell SoCal, because, you know, if you have one built, some of your better gun builders, they're going to run. I mean, the one around here that a lot of times he's a year to year and a half out on his builds.
Well, I think you answered most of his question. That's originally what this chat was going to be. And then he was going to, you know, so we had to change it a little bit because he wasn't here. He was on a Valentine's deal. But
that's good.
Yeah, when you started talking barrel, you know, the name of the barrel you liked, this and that, that's kind of what I think he was leaning towards, because he does like to build stuff like, you know, most of the rest of us.
Yeah.
So I think we were right on track for that, but he can answer it. He's still here. He actually has a link, but he's being a jackass. Won't come
up. Harry's Holster is asking about the Bagara rifles. I've heard good stuff about them. I had a chance to play with them at the last sniper conference I went to, and they look solid. I mean, they really do. But I don't know. You know, it says for factory option. I've got a lot of buddies that shoot Masterpiece arms. That's another one. Pro level precision rifles, base price $4,500. Yeah, okay. Base price, that's on the higher end if he's wanting to keep it below $4,000. But you know, if that's a pro level precision rifle, I'm sure you can get something decent for less than that. Yeah, but I don't have a machine shop. Yeah, and see, that's the problem. I mean, you're not just putting this together like an AR, guys. It doesn't work. I mean, you can, but if you're into cutting barrel blanks and everything else, I mean, you know, we've got that machinery, but we don't do it, and I'll let some do that. I mean, they know what they're doing. We don't have the time to retool for equipment, you know.
Yeah, no, I don't think he gets that far into it.
Hey, I have a question regarding bolt guns versus semi-automatics. Obviously, the bolt guns are more accurate, maybe reliability. You know, you don't have to worry about cycling issues and stuff like that. Is there any long range type competitions where a semi-automatic is actually beneficial?
Yeah, the 3 Gun Nation long range series, gas gun's going to win that one. You cannot compete with the bolt gun in that series. You know, when I went to that match, I took my bolt gun, and you know Matt, right?
I mean, maybe I met him at the last match or something. Maybe
he was the guy with us at the 3 Gun.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I met him. I don't know him.
We ended up taking 2 bolt guns, 2 gas guns. Once I saw the layout of the course, I said, you know what? I'm switching up last minute. I'm going to shoot gas gun because that's what's going to win it. And yeah, I mean, you just can't work a bolt fast enough to compete against a gas gun. However, that being said, these targets were not minute of angle targets. Had they been in minute of angle targets, so just take it for this: 800 yards, you're shooting an 8-inch target. 500 yards, you're shooting a 5-inch target. Just think of it that way. If it had been much smaller targets, then yes, the bolt gun has a much better chance than the gas gun, just because you usually give up some accuracy. I mean, the fact of the matter is it's just tough to compete with the bolt gun accuracy.
Right.
So, but for that, I mean, they were using full size man steels, half size, and then they were using, you know, like 12 by 12 steels. I mean, there was nothing that, you know, at 600 yards you were shooting.
Okay. That's, yeah, I'm kind of,
without further ado,
a couple of my most accurate guns are gas guns. But anyway, say hi to SoCal.
Without further ado, welcome, SoCal.
All right.
Is the credit card getting flimsy?
No, dude, I got a lot.
Melting?
No, it's not melting. I got plenty. I got stacks of them. What's up, guys? How's it going? Yeah, I don't want to. My biggest fear is me asking all these like retarded questions that are so specific to specific things. I don't want to bore the rest of the panel, you know, or the side chat folks.
That's what we're here for. This is precision rifle shit.
Yeah, that's what we're here. We're just that.
Ask it.
All right. Well, I'll start from the general and get way more specific. So Pop kind of answered or asked the question that I was wondering about. And I know I want to invest in something crazy, high end, long range in the 6.5 caliber. But I can't decide if I want to go with a semi-auto or if I want to go with a bolt gun. And
I got this one. This one's mine. Both. There you go.
Yeah, well, both. It's going to be eventually both. Yes, but the thing that I think would steer me one way or the other is how much, taking the human factor out of it, how much less accurate would be a really nice semi-auto gun as compared to a bolt gun, given this, let's say they had basically the same barrels, really high-end bolts, primo optics. How much does that semi-auto factor take into account for all the banging and clanking and jumping around that all the mechanics of the gun kind of do as the shot leaves and the bullet crosses that plane between the gas hole, and as compared to a bolt gun where there isn't one that's going to really change harmonics of the barrel or any of that stuff. Go answer it.
All right, so you hear a lot of guys. I half minute. How many shot groups? I've seen gas guns shoot sub-minute, and there are plenty out there. I mean, LaRue is one of a good manufacturer. I think they might not guarantee it, but I've seen a lot of really good stuff with LaRue gas guns. But it is very easy to get a bolt gun to go sub MOA. Very easy if you're spending this kind of money. Okay, as long as you're doing your part, you're using good quality ammo or hand loads. Yeah, it is realistic to be able to get. I'm just going to make this kind of large. I'll just say 3/4 minute groups. They're holding 3/4 of an inch at 100 yards. Now, my guns do a lot better than that, but is it needed? Okay, yeah, you are making that error of that margin of error smaller because you might need it. But then again, there's a saying among pilots: it's enough errors cancel and things go right. Because that could have been that wind that was blowing it off. So the roundabout way of saying this, and you got to guys have experience with 6.5 and a gas gun. 6.5 does really, really well in the bolt gun, but timing can be a huge issue when you start getting into gas guns and 6.5. I was actually, matter of fact, the rifle that Rick 6 shot out of that range with me, that was a brand new team rifle, and I was going to have it rebarreled in 6.5. But that's when I learned all about these issues that you can have with 6.5. Even 260 is pretty popular too with guys that shoot long distance with gas guns. I'm not saying it's like I said, it can be the shooter as long as it's built right. It's good, but even proof research. I got a bunch of proof barrels. Those things shoot lights out, but even they have a cam gas system now, where in the 6.5 and even some other calibers, they are custom making the gas tube to a certain length because of some of these issues they're having with 6.5 out of gas guns. I'm trying to see if anybody's saying anything different.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I read, and that's the reason why I kind of phrased the question as I did.
Yeah, no, it's a fact. It is a known fact. Matter of fact, it got me. No, I'm not rebarreling that 308. If I do, I'll rebarrel it in 308, but longer because it's a shorter barrel, and I wasn't getting the velocities that I needed, especially to do stuff that I wanted to do with it. So, yeah, it's got me rethinking that. I might try out that cam gas and see how that works, but I don't know. Deep down at heart, I'm a bolt guy, but there is an advantage of shooting a gas gun because of the speed. I mean, if you don't believe that, I mean, look at some of the sniper comps were what team it was, where guys just couldn't compete against the gas guns because their rate of fire was just so much higher. And so, yeah, maybe they miss more, but guess what? They're hitting faster, especially when you're shooting out of a chopper or something like that. I mean, you just crank away, and the guys are good anyway. They're going to hit the targets, but on the bolt gun, you're having to work it again, and work it. And you got so much other stuff going on there because you're moving and having to lead the targets and everything. So yeah. What I'm getting at is they both have their advantages. The The bolt gun, you are going to get a little better accuracy or a lot better accuracy, but your rate of fire is going to be slower with it. Price point, that's a tough one. That's a real tough one because it just depends on who's building what. You know, someone had asked earlier, and I was going to answer it. You know, can you get a decent gas gun for under $2,500? Yeah, you can, because that team gun that I bought, I mean, it had never been fired, and I think $1 for it, and it shoots lights out. It's just the barrel.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to find myself in a helicopter or in any kind of race. I'm just fascinated by this. I've never had the opportunity to go out and shoot anything beyond 100 yards up until maybe a month ago, and you know, it's kind of the reason why I actually bought that Savage Ashbury Precision that I did, because I finally found a range around here that had steel all the way out to 500 yards, and I got a serious like boner for this shit now.
Hey,
so it's like a whole new thing. You know, I build the crap out of ARs all day long, but I don't really know too much about. I mean, I understand ballistics and, you know, spin rate and, you know, whatnot. It's kind of, I'm really good at math in my head, so I mean, I get it, I can visualize it, but it's like I don't know anything about the actual technology behind it, as far as guns and barrels and, you know, whatnot.
Don't downplay the possibility of Farmageddon not having a helicopter. Like, there may be someday.
There was last time
a helicopter that we're flying in, blowing shit up. I mean, you can't put a rule down that there may not ever be a helicopter.
I guess it depends on how big the cabinet shop gets.
Hey, SoCal, did you catch any of the part about the Kestrel, the wind meter, the ballistic solver?
Yeah, and I'm familiar with those little units, and not that I've ever used them before, but I've known about them for a while. Yeah.
Okay.
But there again, you know, not having a place to go out and shoot 500 yards, I mean, even 500 yards is almost unnecessary to use something like that. But, you know, as I pursue this, you know, as I chase this donkey, so to speak, I have a feeling I'm going to be taking a lot of desert trips, and it gets pretty windy out here in the deserts out here in the like Death Valley and whatnot. So I'm going to take a deep trip down this hole. I know I am.
And the fastest way to get to the desert might just be a helicopter.
Good point.
If you ever put I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there, and I feel very strongly about this.
If you ever throw a suppressor, get them all pissy now.
Yeah, no suppressors in California. You can't even have it. Well, you can't have threaded barrels on handguns, but no suppressors allowed in California ever.
Well, for everyone else, if you put a suppressor, I'm going to by far recommend Thunder Beast Arms. Ray and Zach and those guys are unbelievable, and we run their suppressors on everything. If you want something for your precision rifle, it is tough to beat those. They're incredibly well built.
Well, if I ever go down that rabbit hole, I will look them up.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, you'll check them out when we go shooting, because I'll have them on everything. We're running suppressors. We're running suppressors this weekend. And I'm not even shooting a 6.5 this weekend, by the way. I'm actually shooting a gas gun.
What?
Because my partner's shooting a 6.5.
Well, he's shooting the 6.5.
Yeah, my partner's shooting the 6.5, and I am shooting a 5.56.
Yeah,
all right. So just out of curiosity, then. So, okay, you're shooting 5.56. What, what yardage are you running, and you know, what's your bullet choice?
I'm using a 77 TMK. It is a great bullet with the right load. The powder, you want to use 8028 XBR, I think it is. The 8208 XBR.
Is that is that a burger bullet?
It's a Sierra. It's a TMK. It's a tipped King.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, they have a 77 SMK, but that 77 flies really well. As long as you know how to read wind, I have no problems hitting the 10 by 10 steel at 1,000 with it. Now I'm shooting a 20-inch proof on that one, a hybrid barrel, and that one's got a night force on top of it. But we had both of these 6.5s, and then the match director came in and said one rifle must be a 5.56 or 308. Must. So,
okay.
And that's okay, and that's okay, because when we ran on a team, we had one guy on a bolt, and then I was usually on a 416 or something like that, an H&K. So, I mean, that's just the way it runs. I mean, not everybody's going to have a bolt gun. So, I actually did a problem with the fighting on this other A.
That'll actually work out pretty good because you're still able to go to 1,000, plus you got the speed behind it and the closer stuff. That'll give your partner.
Not only that, especially because we're going to be doing the house and some other stages, I think it'll be an advantage to have that.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Because
That's the house stage, right? To kind of get back to the competition stuff. Do you go in the house as a team? One of you guys sets up in another room to shoot the long stuff, but you have to like clear it, like, and then shoot some longer stuff, but not as long as.
I don't know, because we haven't had that. So I have a feeling, because you know there's not many places you can reach out long from that house. So I believe Fast Acquisitions and that AR, that 5.56, is going to shine in that regard. I mean, I'll throw that thing on 4-power and just run that gun. Barrel twist on Land Run 89. I don't know what he's referring to in regards to what caliber, but you know, like in a 6.5, 1 and 8, I'm running a 1 and 7. Definitely 1 and 7, because that thing is only going to shoot 77s. I would assume that's what he's asking about, is the barrel twist on that AR.
Probably. Well, and from the house, everything's downhill and kind of up the next little valley anyway, so it's.
Yeah, a lot of slope dope on that house. I mean, there's some where you're shooting at a really steep angle, so that'll come into play. But it just depends on how small they make those targets.
Or better yet, just throw the mag off the side of the thing, and you don't even have to deal with
it. I can go Rig 6.
Just I don't need it.
So I have a question. Being that y'all are doing this long range thing this weekend at the Clinton House, does that mean the next 3 gun is going to be all long range targets like we got sucked into last time?
They should not be. Now, that was a very unique situation. Normally, you don't engage that far in a 3-gun match. Normally, usually their furthest target's about 350. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that got me in a couple weeks, kind of all getting into long range.
What are you talking about? I was shooting a dot, man.
That's what I said. You guys were hitting that shit with a red dot.
Well, you know what though? I didn't have the talent to do it. You did. So
whatever.
I did buy a 1-to-8 Vortex scope for the next shitty ass 500-something yard shot on a 3-gun. So now I'm never taking another shot out of like, well, I'm taking a shot, but I'm moving like after like 250, 300 yards. No, fuck all that. I'm like shooting, moving. Cause I can't do it. I just can't do it. But until when I can, then I'll engage, then I'll actually engage them seriously. So.
A U860
and those
for
guys,
an hour.
Shooting irons. When I was going through, Army boot camp and we had to do the qualifying, you had to shoot some shitty AR-15 to 300 yards, and I hit my targets. I qualified expert and all back in the day with iron sights. It's all about fundamentals. You're sitting there nice and calmly taking a shot and everything, but when you run up there and you're freaking blasting away, all that shit goes out the wind. So I figure where I'm at right now, 200 yards is kind of my max.
Yeah.
200 yards?
When you're huffing and puffing and running and shit,
I know the stuff you have, dude, and neither of us are experts at long range, but I swear to God, you need to go find a place to go take your gun where you can shoot like 500, 600, 800 yards with the right equipment, like Ray's been saying all along, it's fucking easy, dude.
Yeah, but no,
Easy.
but you don't run 3-gun with all that fancy shit. You run it with
No. I'm just talking about like for fun.
He's trying to sell you on the 6.5 again. So
no,
I'm not. I'm being caliber agnostic at this point. Literally, once you okay. So this is like really what got me fascinated into it. Before I had that vortex sighted in, I was like 2 MOA high, full MOA high at 100 yards. And I was like, fuck it. You know what? I'm exactly 200 or 2 MOA high. I'm just going to start, launching them. And, I was holding maybe 1 MOA low out at 500 yards. And it's like, I was hitting them. But then I was like, all right, I'm going to focus here. I went and got my tools, took the damn scope apart so I could get it completely centered and focused and, completely spot on, and then was shooting again, and I missing low, still trying to come up a little, come up. And then I was like, hey, wait a minute. I have a ballistic calculator on my phone. Let me just dial that in. And I put the bullet weight, average muzzle velocity, the incline that I was at, I was guessing it was about 5 degrees. And it gave me a dope, and it was like 11.3 MOA or whatever. And I put it just right below the 10, pulled this trigger and ding. Oh, can I do that again? Ding. This is awesome. So like what I'm saying is, once you learn the bullet with the rifle and like how it behaves using, that Google thing that you were talking earlier, ask the question, it'll give you an answer, with the ballistic calculator. It's literally like, it's so fun because everything works out. It's like chemistry. You add this to that with a little bit of that, and all of a sudden you got Tadao.
Okay.
Alexa, what's the drop compensation for my Creedmoor?
Okay, that's great. That's great if you're at max power and your reticle looks like this.
No. Not with a front focal plane scope, because it's all
no. You're not even understanding what I'm trying to say. When your reticle looks like this, then that's hard to do.
No, I mean we're talking about bench rest, man.
Yeah, even then.
No, with a bipod with that thing tucked into your shoulder, there's none of this. It's not bouncing.
No, he's talking about in drop pistol and then shotgun, and then gets up on a tower and then he's doing this.
Yeah, I'm just talking about recreational shooting, not like after you've done several 100-yard sprints during a competition. I'm just talking about long range fun. Going out with your bros and just shooting shit a long way away and hitting it. It's
because I can't do that very well, I figured I would step up into the realm of actually running and getting tired and then trying it.
Yeah, because it's not hard enough, right? I think you'd be shocked at how fucking easy it is if you found a place to go do it. If you guys get to go to the Clinton house, and it's just in a really casual environment.
Oh, they're totally going.
Fuck! Send me the day, because I will buy a plane ticket. I will meet you there.
And go like this. Put the lid back on, and then hear ding.
Yeah.
I was watching that 1,000-yard shot that your daughter did, and I'm like, man, I could count to 10 until the sound came back.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it takes forever at those distances, and it's cool. I've actually got a video where Rick might have seen it, but we were out in the mountains up here, and it was 414 yards, and it was a 14 by 14 steel plate. And I took my Glock out, and it was a 357 SIG caliber. I took 3 shots and hit it. There is literally like 10 seconds. I mean, it was like, I had a guy on a spotter, and I shot it. He's like, yeah, you're just a little high. And I'm holding way high. I shoot again, and he was like, oh, you hit it. And then we waited, and we waited, and we waited. And you could hear, ding. I still got that video. I mean, it's pretty cool, but
It is cool.
yeah, that's awesome. It's awesome.
That's crazy.
That's like launching a mortar.
Anytime,
Yeah,
yeah, that's what it was.
it's like shooting off a flare.
I think I was aiming about 30 feet high at 400 yards.
Damn, that's insane.
Yeah, that was cool. And I do gotta say, little Miss X-Ring, she hit the 1,000-yard target, and I didn't hit the 1,000-yard. I got to 8, but I never hit the 1,000-yard. But I was shooting a different rifle.
Yeah, but she also has been doing a lot of long distance shooting. So, you know, up until then, I mean, running her targets out from 100 to 700 yards is not a problem. You know, because she was doing that at 9. But yeah, no, this is the first time she had ever tried to do a 1,000-yard shot, and it was dead on the money. And I was like, good gracious. Yeah, it was cool.
I know I suck when I'm all like, and I'll shoot one of Ray's rifles. But yeah, hit the target, and he's all right, going for the bolt. I'm like, oh, like the target just wasn't good enough. Like, I'm going for the bolt that holds the freaking steel plate on there. You're like,
hey, it's like what SoCal said. I mean, these are surgical weapons. I mean, you're not just trying to hit the steel. I mean, you're aiming on certain parts of the steel. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah, well, nobody told me that. That's it. I'm out of here. See you guys.
Yeah.
No, she shoots really well. I've had a chance of shooting some. Actually, I've ran her through some stages at the place we shoot at. She shoots good. Yep. Pistols, rifles, everything.
Well, she grew up on a range. I mean, come on, she's a range rat.
She shot more rounds than all of us put together, probably.
She's got quite a few under her belt. She's doing ballet now, so she's not doing much shooting.
Yeah. I'd still hate to be her boyfriend or husband someday. You'd be at the mall. All of a sudden, the window cracks. Because you forgot flowers or something.
Oh, gee. Oh, that's fun.
Oh, didn't just want to say Happy Valentine's Day to me. Okay.
Talk about reaching out and touching somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Time to get a big old weight you got. He done got a replacement for that.
No, that's for my 3-gun. That's for my AR.
Yeah, you didn't get one for the one that had the problem?
No, the AR-10. Oh. I don't shoot that one enough to even spend the money on it.
Yeah, but that thing might be a tack driver.
It should be a tack driver.
Take it out and shoot it, you know, on the long range.
I could before I sight it in for my AR. Yeah, 5.56.
Yeah.
It's just hurts so much in the pocket when you buy an optic for me. Like, I don't mind buying the gun, but then it's like, oh man, I forgot.
But they last forever.
I got to put this.
Don't sell your optic.
Yeah, and it can always go on another rifle. I mean, I don't mind dropping a couple grand on an optic. Honestly, I matter of fact, I don't mind spending more on optic than I do with rifle. To be totally honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I'm in the same boat. That's where it's at. The gun's worthless if you can't figure out where you're aiming.
Yeah, it's like buying a Ferrari without a steering wheel. You know, it's like, what's the fucking point? You know.
One pair of channel locks and I'm I'm good to go.
I just duct tape a square on the fucking
stick on there.
Windshield.
If I had a Ferrari, I'd make it work.
Yeah, I hear you there. About time for me to bail, boys. I gotta work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still got to pack. I got to finish
How long
packing.
have you been yapping for?
I don't know. Doesn't
A little
matter.
while. It's 11 o'clock. We started at 9:30.
Y'all should just ask if there's any other questions and call it
Okay, Dad. You guys
Yeah,
have any questions?
I got more questions. Fucking
Yeah, I don't.
Go ahead.
go
You
on
don't
all day.
count. We'll put your dumbass on another video.
Okay. All right. So
Well, go ahead. Ask another question.
no, I'm fucking asking. You're gonna
Go
stay here
ahead.
and listen, sir.
I'm listening. Yes, sir.
All right. So, anyways, now that I muted SoCal, I'm just kidding. Come back,
Okay.
brother.
You bastard.
I love you.
Okay, so I still have this like dilemma because I'm building a really, really nice 6.8 rifle. I'm just waiting for the lower to come in. But I'm also building.
Okay.
I want to build in the future. I know it's two different animals. A 6.5, either
Grendel?
semi-auto or bolt. No, Creedmoor. It's kind of a longer range thing. So I'm not really familiar with 6.8. I've only been doing it for like a month, and obviously it's kind of challenged out beyond about 600 yards, I'd say. Maybe you tell me different, but I want to stick with the same reticle. And since the 6.8 and 6.5 are ballistically kind of close, but not the same velocity, would it be? I don't even know how to ask this question.
Just give me your old scope and then buy the two you want. That's what you're basically saying.
Would it make sense to go with a 4x16 and a 5x20, or I don't even know what I'm asking. I need guidance.
It's a good question. It's a good question. There has been a couple times where the 16 power wasn't enough. Okay, I know I'm kind of contradicting from what I said earlier, but if I'm on the line with a buddy shooting and I don't want to be on the spotting scope, that's when I'm kind of like, dang it, let me grab the spotting scope or grab my other rifle. When I'm competing or when I'm shooting, the gun, it's never an issue. It's when I'm trying to spot for someone and trying to really, really zoom in. Because around here anyway, we're on the East Coast. The days, there's some days you can't even zoom up much beyond that anyway, because the mirage is so bad that the picture gets so distorted, you can't make it out anyway.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying though, with all of that, it's not often that I'm using a 5-20 or 5-25 to where I can be at that upper end anyway. If the conditions are right, then yeah, great. But the 4-16s, I'm really happy with those. Actually, I just picked up another one yesterday, and because I'm just so happy with it. It's the ATAC R. You had already asked about that, and I wish. I'm kind of in the same boat you in regards to your question. I've got a Tremor 3 on this bolt gun, but I've got an H59 on the gas gun, and I kind of wish they were identical. But it wasn't an option at the time. You're never going to be able to get everything to be perfectly matched up. It just
so let's say you could have both. Could you utilize the Tremor 3 on a 6.8 the same way, or to its fullest extent, I guess, as you would be able to with something that'll go much farther? Obviously, the changes in trajectory, I guess is the right word, are going to differ between the two rounds because one's going to be in the air longer than the other. But
yeah, the Tremor 3 has its advantage in that, when you're comparing it to, let's say, an H59 or a Tremor 2, they just cleaned it up from the Tremor 2, but there's a big difference between the Tremor 3 and the H59. The H59 is it's a great reticle. I love it. I'm shooting it on that 4-16. But the Tremor, because I've got the wind dots, once you calculate your velocities and is that a 4-mile-an-hour wind dot or 5-mile-an-hour wind dot? I didn't have a chance to tell you this, but I actually went to Horace and did their training simulator, and there's a lot going on. Okay. And I'm comfortable with holdovers and wind calls and everything else, but there's a lot of, you got speed formulas that you can do in that thing if you're shooting dead on 12-inch squares, because that's got to be the size. It's about the size of a head is what it was designed for. Once you bracket it, you can drop straight down and you don't even have to look at a calculator. You can just go ahead and go to town and hit that target.
Yeah.
But on a 6.8, having a trimmer 3, if you're only shooting that thing out to 600 yards, it's almost too busy for that. I think for that caliber.
Yeah, that's kind of why I asked, because it is.
Yeah,
there's a lot going on there. The bullet's just not in the air long enough to really make use of it.
Okay, how much effect does the Corellas change a long shot? It's got to be a long shot. I mean, you know, people talk about Corellas. I mean, unless somebody's already into it, I mean, it is a long ways, and it depends on where you're at anyway when you're taking those shots. But, you know, this is not one of those things that comes in at 1,100 yards. I mean, you're really not even seeing those effects until, yeah, they're in 10 miles.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
You need it like a howitzer.
Yeah. No, and you know, you can see it with some of these, you know, with these guys shooting 2 miles and all that. Absolutely, it's going to play an effect on it, but not like what you're saying. Yeah, 10 miles. We're not shooting ordnance here, but or you know, howitzers. But yeah, you know, spin drift. You know, everybody knows what that is, but or if they don't, it's basically the twist of your barrel is going to influence the bullet to go that direction. So if you have a left to right twist, or, you know, right-handed twist, it's going to spin to the right. Just think about a football and throwing a spiral. But now you've got to counteract, well, what's wind doing too? So sometimes you're adding and sometimes you're taking away based on that. You know, I read an article the other day saying that spin drift doesn't matter, but in the 5.56, it matters a lot when you're trying to push these things out to 1,000. I mean, matters a whole lot. You're doing 4/10, 5/10 sometimes, well, with wind. But back to your original question, trimmer's great at long distance. I think it'll be a little bit busy for 600 and in. Gonna pick up a 6.5. Keep you in mind. Yeah, Ruger rifle and 6.5 is great. And if you don't like it and it doesn't shoot, just rebarrel it. There's when they first came out, you couldn't find barrels for them, but now everybody and their brother, I think, is making them. It's a great platform. You'll be happy with that, Bob.
Hey, I got a question.
Then,
I noticed one of the companies sent out a memo about a sale on Ruger American rifle chambered in 6mm Creedmoor. That's obviously different than 6.5, right? I mean,
yeah, just a smaller diameter bullet. But like I said, you know, make sure you're not
the guy that designed that bullet. Is that the whole thing?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay.
You know, back in the day, the only time I ever heard Creedmoor was Creedmoor Sports. And Creedmoor, there was a Creedmoor, North Carolina, but that was big in high power rifle, that name Creedmoor. So I don't know. Maybe he did invent that cartridge. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just guessing here.
Yeah. Okay. I was curious because I seen a rifle for like $900. I'm like, man, that's a hell of a deal. But then I was like, wait. It was 6mm, not 6.5.
So Stan said the spin of the earth effect on the shot. Yes, we do know that, Stan. However, like I said, it's got to be a really long shot. And so, you know, that's why we were kind of talking about that, because a lot of people ask about it, but most people will never really get a chance to experience that.
Yeah, that's why I said 10 miles, because it doesn't really matter, you know.
Yeah.
Not in the world that I live in anyway, so.
Yeah.
Long shot.
But yeah, so back to WTF. Yeah, I would probably stay away from the trimmer for a 6.8 personally. I love it, but it is busy. You know, it'd be like, you know, me putting a trimmer on now the one of the advantages that the trimmer does have, the H59, or at least the H59s that I've got, I don't have any reference markers or stadias above the horizontal crosshair. Okay. So if I'm trying to do, all right, so this is it. Let's say I have a course of fire where I'm engaging a target. I'm going to try to make this really simple. Let's say I'm trying to engage a target at 1 mil, 2 mil, 3 mil, 4 mil. No, let me make that up. Let me change it. 2 mil, 4 mil, 6 mil. Okay. I'm taking 3 shots on 3 steels. One's going to be 2 mils on my hold. One's 4 mils, one's 6 mils. Well, because I don't want to hold deeper in my reticle, a lot of times what we'll do is we'll go ahead and subtract that out, that first shot. So let's pretend you're dialing. Okay. You've got 100 yard zero and you dial 2 tenths, then you're going to dial 4 tenths, or excuse me, 2 mils, 4 mils, 6 mils. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and dial 2 in and subtract 2 from the other. So basically you're doing 0, 2, and 4, because now I'm not deeper in my reticle. Okay. Where I'm going with this
doesn't even come to effect. You're not that deep down into the reticle where it's even going to make a difference.
Well, it can be on longer shots. That's why I'm mentioning this.
Right, but
if I need
what
to
you're
hold,
saying,
if I need to hold negative in the top, I can't do that on my H59. We were shooting loops the other day, and some of you guys might know what it is. Some of them don't. It's an advanced sniper technique to keep from being found. But I'm just going to make up a scenario here. Let's say you're in a warehouse and there is a 5-inch by 5-inch hole in the wall. Okay. It's you being back a certain distance and shooting through that hole in the wall, but being able to hit your target that is 600, 700, 800 yards. Now, more than likely, if you haven't done the math on it, and it is one of the most protected formulas around, you can always find it on your own, but the true military formulas, no one will ever share them with you, ever. Okay. Because it's a bad situation. You get somebody that's, holed up, that's 10 foot back in a building and shooting through a 5-inch square hole. You don't know where that shot came from. It's so well masked. But if you don't do the math and you're trying to engage a target that's 700 yards out, you might not have enough clearance with that 5-inch hole. So you have to adjust your distance to that hole. Okay. Because you don't want the muzzle at the hole. That's going to give your signature away. So in that situation, you are better suited to do negative holds or up above the horizontal line. And I don't have that on H59. We were doing that the other day, just anticipating they might have a stage like that, because we're actually going to duplicate 3 real world sniper scenarios from history in this event. 3 of the stages will be, based on fact and real shots that were taken. So we were practicing that, and I was like, dang it, if I had that trimmer, I could have done it. And now I'm having to do all this guesswork, basically. So that's the only disadvantage I could see, but I can't ever do that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Stuff that I was talking about in these getting started in precision rifle, I'm trying to teach a week-long course in 10 minutes, 10-minute sessions, because it would be really boring and it would really get muddled up. And I mean, talking about the stuff that we're talking, yeah, exactly. It's trigonometry is all it is, but it's also knowing the bore over height that, that's huge in that, because
huge. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, it's not just doing, a 90-degree triangle here, or, a right angle. It gets really, really involved, and you don't want to hit that wall 5 feet away from you with a 6.5 or whatever they call it. Hey, you practice on cardboard.
Yeah, well, that's even tough with the scope height and everything too. Like you said, the board.
Exactly. And that's one of the things. When we're training guys on carbine courses, and we're like, all right, I want this one. I want this one in the eyeball. Well, guess what? Everybody hits them right here in the cheek, instead of hitting them in the eyeball. It's bore over height, and they got to understand at certain distances that's not going to work. If you're trying to get a T-box shot or something, stop somebody instantly, and they, I'm not even going to. The human body can take a whole lot. I mean, a whole lot. So unless you're in that T-box, your chances are you're not going to get an instant stop. You're going to have a lot of fight left in them.
All right, boys. All right. Appreciate you having me. I'm a bail.
All right, guys. Man, it's been fun. Yeah, it's time to wind it down.
Hey, man, I'm not going to wish you luck, because I have a good feeling you don't need it, but I'm going to wish you well.
I need it.
No, you don't
wish me luck.
Luck is only for the unprepared, and you're very prepared. And you do your thing. I can't wait to hear back how you did, and hope to link up with you maybe next weekend or the following or whenever it is. You just let me know.
Sounds good. We'll do it.
Yeah. Before you go, Ray, I'm gonna get your phone number from Rick. I'm gonna text you my credit card number.
No, don't do that.
I'll give you like a $12,000 budget, and you can hook me up.
All right.
I do have some hookup.
Now don't hang up. Say goodnight to everybody.
Hey guys, thanks for joining. It was an interesting conversation. We jumped around from long range to 3-gun to you name it. But I appreciate everybody joining in, and it was a pleasure to be on the show here. And I hope to see more of you soon. I'm going to go dark until like next Monday, so there's not going to be any videos or anything.
And then say subscribe to my channel.
Yeah, subscribe to my channel. They know that now, but anyway, if they don't do it, time will tell. I'm going to give it about a month or two, and if it doesn't take off, you and I'll be making movies till now. Is your 6 covered?
As long as we don't stop having fun, that's all that matters. All right, so
well, Ray, dude, you got to give it more time than that. I have 4 YouTube channels, and 3 of them only have, well, no, 2 of them only have like 2,000 subscribers. Not shit, just barely. And
Really?
It takes a while to get to 1,000, but once you get to 1,000, it starts inching up, and the more subs you get, the faster they come. You just got to give it time. Don't give up.
Ray should get them that fast.
Don't give up on it. It took me 4 years of a cooking channel to build it up beyond 30,000 subs. But you're far more interesting than I will ever be. So I think you'll probably do better than I have ever.
Sure hope so.
Well, I appreciate it. We'll see how it goes. And Rick's like, you need to bring some machine guns out some more. I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I mean, it's good content. We'll do that later. I've got plenty of other stuff.
What you got to do is you got to tease people with it, like once a month, just like, hey, check it out. That was awesome, right?
Yeah, that was the whole thing. That's when we'll start bringing all the belt feds out. I mean, literally everything out. We'll bring saws out. You name it, we got them. We'll do it.
Yeah, Yankee Bald and Curious, he only had a few subs, and then he shit talked some Yankee Marshall, and now he's past me, of course, and got 3,000 plus subs. He did a good job.
Yeah. Somebody's asking, what's the link?
Link to what?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
X-Ring. Look up X-Ring. X-ring.
Oh, yeah. Type something over here so they can. Thanks, Nate, for slapping us around a little bit and waking us up. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely check out his channel. He's got great knowledge and all that stuff and fun stuff. So
yeah, we just need to do a get together and get some of the East Coast guys, and we'll do a day out the range. And
yeah, for sure. All right. Well, you guys, appreciate you showing up. Don't go nowhere.
Thank you, ladies.
Hit stop broadcast now. See you guys. Thanks.
All right. See you.